And finally on this side we have two buttons here. This is not a graphics card. This is the AMD BC-250, a crypto mining board that cost me just £80, which is about 99 US dollars. The strange thing is, this board is built around a cut down PlayStation 5 chip. It has 16GB of GDDR6 RAM, a CPU and GPU on the same die, and it even supports ray tracing. So the question is this a hidden bargain or is it more trouble than it's worth? Keep watching as I find out. The BC-250 is a mining board repurposed from PlayStation 5 silicon. While it looks like a graphics card, it's actually more like a single board computer. Think of it like an obese, girthy Raspberry Pi 5. It was originally designed to mine cryptocurrency, not play games, and that makes it a bit tricky and unusual to set up. In this video, I'm interested in playing games on it, including retro games, and using it as a cheap Steam machine to compete with Valve's new console, which is due for release later this year. Right, let's talk about the specs. This board comes with 16GB of GDDR6 memory shared between the CPU and GPU, just like the PlayStation 5. The CPU is a cut down Zen 2 and the GPU is a reduced RDNA 2 with 24 compute units, which is fewer than a full PlayStation 5 but still powerful enough to run modern games. It even has ray tracing support, which is pretty impressive for a board that costs less than £100. So in terms of raw hardware, this tiny mining board punches way above its weight. By the way guys, be a legend and hit that subscribe button. Let's take a proper look at the I/O ports now. At the side here we have 4 USB ports. 2 are USB 3.0 while the other 2 are USB 2.0. And moving on from them, we have a single display port here. You will need an adapter if you want to use it on an HDMI monitor or a capture card. Now here we also have the gigabit Ethernet port. There's no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth built in, so again you'll need to use some kind of adapter. And finally on this side we have 2 buttons here. One's for power on and one's for reset. Okay, turning the board on its side, what do we have? Here we have a PCIe 8-pin 12V input connector. So you'll need to jumper a power supply to power it on. And these 2 are proprietary power inputs as well. And looking at the top here we have an M.2 slot. It only supports PCIe 2.0, so top of the range NVMe drives are wasted here. Oh, and have you noticed there are various versions of this style of shielding. Here for example it's all closed up. On some it's partially opened, and for cooling you're going to have to get a blower cooler and blow air into it from the side here so it comes out, or you can open these vents. And also it does not include a battery. You have to source your own battery as well, which is a 2032 lithium I believe, button cell. Right, here's some of the equipment I'll probably use in this review. We've got obviously the power supply. I'm using a Corsair 550 watt one. Then I've got the 24 pin jumper here, which is already configured. You can buy these on AliExpress by the way. Just plug onto there. I've got one with a button as well. I'm not sure which one I'll use. And here we have a CMOS battery, which it doesn't come with, so you'll have to buy one. And then here we have a HDMI to DisplayPort adapter. And over here we have some tools to help me to open and tidy up the vents. If the blower style cooler is not good enough, then I'm going to have to use a conventional fan, and these will help with it. Everything you see here will be available in AliExpress. Right, here I am. I'm booted up and about to flash a custom BIOS. This custom BIOS allows you to unlock certain BIOS settings on the BC-250, such as a custom VRAM allocation and other advanced settings. The full details are available in the link in the description below. Now I'll fast forward until the end. Now I'm loaded up here into Bazzite Linux, the preferred operating system for the AMD BC-250. By the way, you'll save yourself a lot of headache if you install this operating system. Anyway, the setup's not complete yet. A GPU governor needs to be installed to allow the GPU to boost to 2 GHz. Power usage currently is very high at around 100 watts idle. The governor helps a little with all this. Okay, now the GPU governor is installed, it's time to move on to some real tests. Now, first up, I wanted to find out how good it is at playing YouTube. Here it is playing Costa Rica at 4K. As you can see, it's pretty good playback with only a few dropped frames. Now for some gaming action. To kick things off, I tested Expedition 33, a PC Windows game, which also happens to be a PlayStation 5 release. It ran pretty well, as you can see here. There's lots of geometry going on, and I'm using the medium preset. There are a few dips below 60 frames per second, but it being an RPG, it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. Well, not much anyway.
What?
Next up, a port of a well-known PlayStation 5 game. It's God of War Ragnarök. Now, even though the BC-250 has 2 less CPU cores and 12 less GPU compute units, it runs this demanding game pretty well. Here I'm using the game's medium preset.
He seems angry. Get him before he stops again.
Now on to the emulation tests. First up was PlayStation 3 emulation with RPCS3 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It looks like a simple game to run, but it's quite demanding. However, the BC-250 did a good job and managed to run it well at 60 frames per second, most of the time anyway. Now onto some Nintendo Switch emulation. First up, I tested Mario Odyssey, and this is the first below $100 device that can emulate it at full speed. What also pleasantly surprised me though was it only consumed around 80 watts. But bear in mind, this device consumed 70 watts just sitting in the BIOS screen doing nothing. And here's the other very popular and demanding game, Zelda Breath of the Wild. This one's capped at 30 frames per second by default, and Eden, the Switch emulator, does a good job running it here. The last system I tried emulating was the PlayStation 4 using shared PS4. Here's R-Type Dimensions EX. Not exactly the most demanding game, judging by the CPU usage, but I didn't know what to expect. Anyway, emulation was spot on with this game. It barely taxes a BC-250. One game that does tax the PlayStation 4 a lot is Drive Club. Even though this game runs natively at 30 frames per second, it doesn't quite manage to consistently run it at that speed, with frequent slowdowns, especially when many cars are on screen. Finally, let's take a look at a couple of benchmarks. First up was Geekbench 6.4. As you can see the scores here, their single core score wasn't anything special, but the multi-core score was more than double anything else I've reviewed at a similar price point, all thanks to its power-hungry 6-core CPU. Last of all is the Furmark benchmark. This benchmark hits the GPU hard and consumes a lot of power. Here it gives an impressive 5,437 points using the Vulkan API. Oh, and even with a slight undervolt, the board consumed 230 watts. And here's the results, next to a couple of devices I've previously reviewed with a similar price. As you can see, it's 12 times faster than the Porgy N97 Mini PC. Well, what a mighty device the BC-250 turned out to be. The job seeker's steam machine, as I like to call it.
Good morning, job seekers!
But let's be real, it comes with some serious limitations. No Windows GPU drivers, high idle power consumption, PCIe 2.0 NVMe speeds, and it definitely needs proper cooling, either a blower style setup like this here, or some DIY airflow mods. And on top of that, you'll need to flash a custom BIOS just to unlock its full potential. Now the elephant in the room, the price. Since I picked mine up back in November, the price has gone up quite a bit and it really hurts its value. That said, it's not all bad. You're still getting hardware ray tracing, 16GB of GDDR6 RAM, and a growing community pushing this thing further. So, is it still worth buying in 2026? Honestly, it depends on how much you enjoy tinkering. If you want plug and play, probably not. But if you like pushing weird hardware to its limits, there's definitely something special here. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and thanks to everyone who's subscribed to the channel lately. Don't forget to hit that like button. Cheers for now.